Hello there. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. Whatever time you're tuning into this, just make sure it is good. Allow me to introduce myself. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Game Boy Rob, and this is my very first YouTube video that I'm making for you guys. I am a Legends of Runeterra Twitch streamer. I recently started streaming earlier this month, this October, and I stream every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is Pacific Standard Time. Come hang out. We have a good time. We build wacky decks, and we try to beat the meta. And sometimes we try hard. We beat all the gauntlets, but we have a good time, and that's what's important. So come on down and hang out. But enough of that self-promotion. Today we have got something special. We've got something fancy. I was looking over all of the new K-pop cards. You might not be aware. There's a K-pop event going on in Legends of Runeterra. You may have heard. And they brought us some new cards. They brought us some fancy schmancy K-pop cards, which are permanently added to our collections. You can build decks with these. They will forever be in the game as far as I'm aware. And they're here to stay. So the one I was most excited for when I read them was Go Hard. And that's what this deck is all about. This is a Go Hard deck. So Go Hard is a card that says drain 1 from a unit and shuffle 2 copies of Go Hard into your deck. Once you've cast 3 Go Hards, all of your Go Hards everywhere are going to become Pack Your Bags. Pack Your Bags, also a 1-mana spell, deals 5 damage to all enemies, and it deals 5 damage to the enemy nexus. And then all the Go Hards go back to, and then all the Pack Your Bags go back to Go Hard. So what's interesting about this card is it's a Shadow Isles card, and it is a 1-mana drain. It sounds familiar, right? This sounds just like a cheaper version of Vile Feast that doesn't get you a body, right? And that's all the card does by itself. The first 3 times you cast it, it'll just make a new one. It'll kill a 1/1 or something, deal 1 damage to something, heal your nexus. It won't make a 1/1, and it'll make extra copies of itself in your deck. But once you cast 3 of them, once you find your other copies, you get Pack Your Bags, and you completely wipe your opponent's board, and you start on winning the game. It's really hard to come back from that with certain decks. So the challenge that this card presents for us, is Go Hard is difficult to cast 3 times. We only get to start with 3 copies. Obviously, every time we cast it, our total number of Go Hards goes up by 1. So say we draw 1 Go Hard and we play 1 Go Hard, there will be 4 copies of Go Hard in our deck. We draw another one and we play another one, there will be 5 copies, etc, etc. Because every time you play one, you get 2 more. So you'd think it'd be pretty easy to draw into your next copy of Go Hard once you've played one. Say you draw this on turn 1 and you play it. It seems like over your next couple draws, you'll get another one. It's surprisingly difficult. It's surprisingly difficult to cast this 3 times and then draw it a 4th time and play it a 4th time. It doesn't always happen unless you are running a deck that wants to draw constantly. And that's what we've created here. We've created a Twisted Fate list, and that's what we've combined it with Bilgewater. These 2 regions have an insane amount of card draw when combined together. So our curve for this deck, by the way, I've called We Draw Hard, because that's what it is. It's a Go Hard deck that wants to draw. And our curve for this deck is extremely low. We have 1 5-cost unit, and everything else costs 4 or less. So the idea here is we're going to drop a bunch of really cheap units, hopefully units that draw us cards, by the way, like Pool Shark, and we're going to spread out real wide in the early game. We're going to play Elise, we're going to play Curse Keeper, we're going to play Hapless Aristocrat. We're going to have a bunch of really little, really cheap bodies on the board in the beginning. We're running all the cheap things that draw cards, by the way, which means Pool Shark, and which means Fortune Croaker. Yes, Fortune Croaker is now going to see play outside of Starspring, outside of a Tom Kench deck, which is fun for us. So the idea here is Fortune Croaker is going to hit Curse Keeper. Easy as that. Curse Keeper, we have 3 Curse Keepers, and we have 2 ways of really triggering Curse Keeper. One of them is Glimpse Beyond, and the other one is Fortune Croaker. We have other ways in a pinch if we need to, and we don't have any other ways of playing Go Hard. Go Hard can also trigger Curse Keeper. That's something to keep in mind, but not what you should be shooting for. After that, we have 3 Vile Feast, because Vile Feast is just a great card. It gives us another cheap body, and it's just a great card. A great card for Shadow Isles. You should always run either this or Unspeakable Horror. I think Vile Feast is better for this deck because, as you'll see in the games up ahead, our hand gets a bit large. It gets a bit unwieldy. times, so we don't need the extra card that comes from Unspeakable. We'd prefer the body from Vile Feast. And then what is this? You may be looking at this and going, Game Boy Rob, what is that? This is a card that's in the game? I've literally never seen this card ever. And I don't blame you. This card is called Passage Unearned. It's a Call of the Mountain card, but it was introduced with the first set of cards when it was introduced back when freaking Tarek was introduced, back when any Targon card came in. We got this card and no one knew what to do with it. Everyone was like, this card is terrible. It's never going to be helpful. The time has come when this card is not terrible, when this card is in fact helpful. And the reason for that is because of Feel the Rush. The Freljord K-pop card, Feel the Rush, the 12 mana one that summons 2 champions and then makes them 10/10. Turns out, if you summon them out of your deck, they are not played. And if you play this Passage Unearned, it will. If you go up against that ramp deck and they play Feel the Rush and they get a Tryndamere and they get a Trundle and they're both 10/10s, it's okay. You just spend 3 mana and they're both obliterated. Trundle doesn't level up. Tryndamere doesn't level up. Trundle goes away, everything is solved. Our problems are all solved. We don't want 3 of this card because there are some matchups in which it doesn't do very much, but there are a surprising amount of matchups in which this is surprisingly useful. It completely stuffs Harrowing. It completely stuffs Rekindler strategies. There are a lot of people running around trying to make Go Get It into a decent deck, and they're running Rekindlers and stuff. And this will completely destroy that if you time it properly. But we don't want 3 because there are certain matchups which this actually does nothing at all. But it's okay. If we draw this in a game where we don't want to play it, or where it just won't be helpful, we can just shuffle it back into our deck using Pick a Card. We're running 3 Pick a Cards and 3 Slot Bots. This is gotta be one of my favorite cards in all of Legends of Runeterra. I love his voice lines. And it's been so sad that he can't find a decent deck to call home. I think we've made a decent deck for him to call home. Slotbot puts in so much work in this deck. He gets unbelievably huge, unbelievably quickly, because we are going to be drawing so many cards. Now, on top of that, we also have another card that you might not have seen very often, and you've got to be asking yourself right now, Robin, Game Boy, what are you doing? This is a meme deck. You're building a meme deck. How can you possibly find a way to make Mystifying Magician work? And the answer is because this deck in the early game is going to make so many bodies. It's going to fill up the board. You're going to have 6 units basically all the time. And you're not going to know what to do with all your little Spiderlings and your Hapless Aristocrats and your Pool Sharks once they've come in, right? You play Pool Shark and he draws you a card next turn, and then he just sits there. He's a 2/1. Mystifying Magician can turn him into something that's actually useful, that's actually going to be able to block Fearsomes and trade well and do all that stuff. So we've got him as a 2 of. And then 2 Salvage, 3 Twisted Fate, obviously. Salvage just for more card draw. We need more card draw. I know it's hard to believe. And 1 Crumble. Now, Crumble is sort of the same idea as Mystifying Magician. It's just something to turn... This will turn a useless 1/1 or a 1/2 into, killing your opponent's Trundle, or killing your opponent's Swain, or whatever it is. Killing your opponent's Leviathan. And so we run 1 Crumble. We might run more. But the problem with this card is that it's the reason you don't see Crumble played very often is because it is too easy to interact with. If you cast Crumble on, say you're facing the ramp deck, right? You're facing Trundle Tryndamere, and you have Crumble in your hand, and you've got some little units on the board. You play Crumble, and you target your Spiderling, and you try to kill your opponent's Trundle, right? What does your opponent do? They Vile Feast your Spiderling. This whole spell fizzles, and you don't kill Trundle. And it's very sad. So you have to take your opponent's mana into consideration when playing this card, and you have to think, what could they do? And you might end up having to cast this on something you don't want to cast it on. You might have to cast it on a 2/2 or a 1/2 or something, even a 2/3. You may even have to kill your own Elise with Crumble. It really depends on the situation. But yeah, that's why we don't run more than 1 of this. 1 is usually enough. We don't want to be casting spells to remove our creatures, to remove our opponent's units, unless it's Pack Your Bags, right? This is the idea behind the deck, is to get Pack Your Bags going. So I think I've given enough of a rundown. That should be enough of a deck tech. I think we're gonna get right into a game here. We're gonna show you what we mean here. So without further ado, let's see who we run into. All right. Hey, and we find the ramp deck. The ramp deck. Freljord Shadow Isles ramp. So what do we look for in the early game? We look for Elise. Curse Keeper into Fortune Croaker is pretty good. We don't really need our go hards in this matchup, but I wouldn't keep Salvage either. If we can find a Twisted Fate, then we're gonna be in a good spot. I like all this early pressure. Marvolio, not a bad thing, not a bad thing. So I doubt our opponent might play something. Now we have to choose here. We have a choice between playing Elise and playing a Cursed Keeper with Fortune Croaker next turn. I think Elise is probably better.
Come closer. I don't bite.
I imagine he's just either going to play a Wording Stones or a Catalyst. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna play Cursed Keeper. And this is like a failsafe. Cursed Keeper acts like a failsafe against this deck. They can't really Avalanche or like Withering Wail, because if they do, they activate your Cursed Keeper for free, and they don't want to do that. So when you're playing against ramp, okay, he just goes for the Catalyst. That's fine. That's fine. We're gonna spread out. We're gonna see how hard we can hit him in one turn.
Aren't you?
The answer is 5 damage. So we get a nice solid hit off on our opponent. We're pressuring him pretty hard. I imagine, oh, we're not gonna see Trundle. Okay, he's just ramping. He's just ramping. So what's frightening about all this, we could go for a Mystifying Magician to really threaten our opponent here. And in fact, I think I want to. I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna see if we can get something big. We get literally the smallest possible thing. That's okay. At least it's not a troop of Elnix. We open attack. This does have the neat utility in which it's gonna be hard for him to find a good atrocity target now. But yeah, as you can see, we are really putting the pressure down on our opponent, and he goes for the Avalanche. That honestly barely wipes our board, so we're gonna let that hit. Not that we could do anything about it. If we had a Glimpse Beyond, we probably would have used it there, but we don't, so we don't worry about it. We're gonna drop the Slot Bot. See, what we want to do against this deck is we want to find the Passage Unearned. We really want to find the Passage Unearned. We could go for pick a card, we could go for Salvage in an attempt to find it. Our opponent is going to go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can't cast it next turn, so I'm not too worried. I am worried about a second Avalanche. I'm gonna drop Slotbot. Slotbot doesn't die to Avalanche. If he wants to play Avalanche number 2, I suppose he can. He goes for the Sentry. Okay. We could go for the Vile Feast here, but I don't really want him to draw cards, right? I think I'm just gonna go for the Fortune Croaker. We can do it on Slotbot.
You pay. I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
Using Fortune Croaker on Slotbot essentially makes him break even because it draws you an extra card, but it also deals the damage to him. So it kind of does nothing as far as Slotbot's stats are concerned. It just draws you cards. Okay, he drops a Trundle. And this is the part where we start getting a little bit nervous because we want to be able to cast Passage Unearned next turn, and we don't have it in our hand. So we're gonna salvage and see what we can find. We burn a Crumble, our only Crumble, which is unfortunate, but all right, we're gonna hit okay. We're gonna see what our opponent does, how to block. He drops a Tavern Keeper. Okay, that's really important. The fact that he did that is really important because it means, again, he cannot cast Feel the Rush next turn. 2 mana plus 9 mana. I didn't actually mean to pass there, but 2 mana plus 9 mana is not 11, or is 11 and is not 12, right? So we didn't need, so I passed there accidentally, but it was what I was going to do anyway, because we don't need to play pick a card if we know our opponent can't play Feel the Rush.
No shelter.
So we're gonna go in. Trundle is Frostbitten, which is convenient. We could go for a Vile Feast or a Go Hard first, but I don't want to walk into a Tryndamere. So we're just going to open attack right now. See how much we can pressure our opponent. I imagine he's going to trade and kill these two.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Or not. Alright, our opponent goes down to 6.
To alert the villain.
And you can see, even though we're attacking basically with our whole board every turn, and he's played a couple avalanches, we're still maxed out. We still have the maximum number of units on the board. All right, we're gonna lead off with another Fortune Croaker, I think, and we're probably gonna kill a Spiderling because no, okay, we're gonna play Curse Keeper. We're gonna place Curse Keeper.
We weren't expecting callers.
And we're out of board space, right?
Nothing
He goes for the Sentry. We could go for a Go Hard, and we might eventually, but I don't want to do it yet. I really want to draw a Passage Unearned before I start. Yeah, we're gonna kill a Spiderling.
If I kill you, I don't fortune, stupid.
We could use it on Cursed Keeper, but if he wants to ruinate us, I would like to actually keep that 4/3. All right, he goes for a Catalyst. We really need to find Feel the Rush, so we're gonna play pick a card, and we're gonna send back our second Elise, and then we're also gonna play Pool Shark here after our opponent takes his action. So we're gonna play Pool Shark. We could go for the Go Hard onto the 2/1, but again, I don't want to draw more copies of Go Hard right now. So we're just gonna end round there and hope we find the Passage Unearned. We don't find it.
What did we get?
Ah, we do find it. We found the Passage Unearned. Is this a Feel the Rush? This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Yeah, do your dance. Do your dance, summon your dudes. And this is his attack turn, so... this is so satisfying. We're not gonna do it just yet. We're gonna do it in a minute. We're gonna lead off with this Go Hard here. We're gonna lead off with the Go Hard. We'll wait for him to attack to play this, and we're gonna wait for him to. We'll see what he pulls where. I imagine he'll pull the Slot Butt under one of the bigger ones, so it dies. He could put it under Trundle. That'd be the worst case scenario, is if he pulls Slot Butt to here. Okay, he's going for lethal, obviously. That makes sense. We don't care. We're gonna drop. We're gonna sacrifice this guy because he doesn't matter, and we're gonna play this. All right. So in case you didn't know, and I don't blame you for not knowing, Passage Unearned has a really fancy animation. Look at this. There they go. What 10/10s? I don't see any 10/10s. So now we're gonna play Twisted Fate, and I think we're gonna go for the card draw, just so that we can also play pick a card this turn.
I'm always up for
This will also get Slotbot into insane levels here. And it'll give us exactly enough mana to play this pick a card and toss back our Vile Feast. This is so exciting. This is such exciting Legends of Runeterra right now. I can't even express to you how happy that made me to just obliterate a 10/10 Tryndamere and a 10/10 Trundle for 3 mana. Alright, we draw a ton of cards.
Celebrate.
Twisted Fate is already almost leveled. He'll be leveled next turn if we do that.
Where are you, spirit?
We're gonna drop the attack on there. Unfortunately, Slotbot didn't get very much attack, so it's not gonna trade with Trundle very well. We're gonna attack like that. We're gonna deal as much damage as possible. He's gonna need to actually spend a card here to not die. Twisted Fate's at 5. If we play the Glimpse Beyond here, we could actually threaten him a little bit more. I think this is fine though.
Skitter out from the
I think that's fine.
darkness.
They look angry.
Okay, so he blocks the 5 damage. Slotbot's taking a big hit here. Doesn't die though. And our opponent, we could see a ruination out of our opponent next turn. Or I mean, yeah, next turn on his turn. No, there goes the spiderling. It's fine. And we have more cards in our hand than we know what to do with. Okay, so he's going for the Vile Feast on the Slotbot. Sure. Sure. We're gonna play Go Hard, and I think we're gonna target Trundle here. We can keep threatening him with the Vile Feasts. We're not gonna show him the pick a card until he's spent a bit more mana. I'd like to surprise him with the Twisted Fate level up next turn.
It's always
We'll make him worry.
cold in the
Yeah.
Freljord.
We'll make him worry about his Trundle now. This is also a Twisted Fate's pick a card, so if he does have an answer to Twisted Fate, we can play the second one and get the red card and clear his board. Let's see if he has a Troll Chant in his hand.
We must all make
He does not. Okay,
sacrifices.
so Trundle goes down. Trundle goes down. The next way we ensure that we don't die to like this, he could have a second
The
Feel the
trolls
rush
are
here.
going to war.
Alright, so that's Trundle number 2. No, this is actually Trundle number 3. This is his third Trundle, I believe. Let's check. Trundle 1. We just killed a Trundle that he played, and he got 1 Trundle off of Feel the Rush. So that's his third Trundle. So Feel the Rush is much less threatening now. We are going to play... The only answer he could have now to stopping Twisted Fate is Avalanche. So we're gonna play pick a card on the Slotbot here, send him back. We can't play them both. We're gonna say, okay, if our opponent wants to Avalanche now, Twisted Fate dies, and we can't stop that. So we are vulnerable to an Avalanche here. But otherwise, we're gonna drop... If he does go for the Avalanche, we're gonna drop Slotbot. If he has it, he'll go for it now. He has no reason not to. Is that the Avalanche? Oh, it's an Unspeakable Horror. Sure. Absolutely. Okay, which is our signal that we can now drop this Slotbot and start it growing as well.
Take me for a spin. Ha ha.
Ha ha! I love Slotbot. I love Slotbot's voice lines. Okay, so now we level up Twisted Fate, and this is where things start getting real silly.
I guess you can win them all.
So since our opponent has dropped 3 Trundles already, even if he does have another Feel the Rush, it'll only summon one thing. It'll only summon a Tryndamere. And we ought to be able to, yeah, use the gold card here to stop anything. Okay, so Feel the Rush number 2. No. It says, okay, so the Oracle's Eye says that there's gonna be 2. That there's gonna be 2 cards there, but that's a lie. It's only gonna get 1 Trundle. One Tryndamere. I think I'm actually gonna go for the pick a card now. I don't think we're gonna be playing Marvolio. Actually, we're even less... Yeah, let's get rid of Marvolio.
Stacking the odds.
And I'm doing this now just to see what the card draw is before we have to start playing cards to get the red card and the gold card. Okay, we draw another Twisted Fate. Another Twisted Fate. We're gonna go for the Go Hard. We're gonna go for the Go Hard onto Trundle here. That'll get the red card and start picking away our opponent's board here.
Something for all of you.
And his Nexus health.
Bow to your
This is so much fun. I'm having so much fun. A lot of people are angry with how they've handled this event, and there's people are saying it's all just a big marketing ploy. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'm having so much fun with this event. Okay. So we're gonna get the gold card off of Twisted Fate to stun Tryndamere. And I think we do that by playing Glimpse Beyond here. I think that's the play. This allows us to play the second Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate goes down, but that's okay. Play Twisted Fate number 2.
Now, where was I?
I kind of want to play the Crawling Sensation just to draw a card off to Twisted Fate here. We won't get either of the Spiderlings, but we will draw a card and shuffle an Elise back into our deck, which doesn't really matter. I was hoping we'd draw a Go Hard. If we do Go Hard, we could actually kill Trundle, but we don't find it. That's all right. There's the... Oh, we don't have any Go Hards. It's Pack Your Bags.
Celebrate.
That should be GG. This should be the end of the game. This is a slow speed spell. He could have an Atrocity in his hand. And I don't think we have any way of really stopping an Atrocity from killing us. We're just a bit too low. Yeah, we gotta go for it. We might die to Atrocity here. We don't. We win. That's what I like. Look at this. We're gonna do a dance. We're gonna do a dance and kill him. That's fantastic. So that's exactly how the deck is supposed to function.
Outplayed.
Is just draw tons and tons and tons of cards. Ooh, I actually don't know how this matchup goes. I haven't run into this one yet. So we see a Fiora Shen deck. I love Cursed Keeper into Fortune Croaker, and we're going to attack on turn 3. I kind of want to keep the Glimpse Beyond as well. Actually, so this deck is kind of it might be one of those all-in Fiora decks. So we're gonna get rid of Fortune Croaker because the fewer bodies we can give our opponent, the better, I say. And then we draw all the bodies. That'll have to do. Hi. Hello.
I am one with the land.
You love to see it. You love to see a Braum emote that's not trying to be a BM.
My life for these lands.
I mean, I assume that wasn't BM. He might be trying to be a jerk. We don't know. Land one time. That's probably a League of Legends
These woods
player.
protect their own.
These woods protect their own. We could go for a Go Hard here, but I don't think that's necessary. We're gonna go for Elise.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Obviously, there's no 1-mana barrier. And now I think we do go for the Go Hard. Now I think we do go hard. If we attack with Elise and he plays a barrier, he kills Elise for free and buffs up both of these, and we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna go for the Go Hard. If he does nothing, we probably play Cursed Keeper, but we might actually just burn his mana and go for Twisted Fate next turn. If he goes for Fiora, I don't want to see a Fiora. I guess I just hope he doesn't have a Fiora here. He has it. Okay.
Fall by my blade.
That's not
Stay
ideal.
away from my pets.
That is not ideal. We're gonna pass. He probably is gonna kill Elise next turn with his Fiora.
I will cut you down.
En garde!
I doubt he plays a barrier.
Try me.
Oh, he goes for the Spiderling.
En garde!
He doesn't know what he wants to do. That's fine. We let that happen.
Swish goes the spider.
We're gonna play TF, and we're gonna go for the red card.
Deal me in.
Now, if this person runs Chain Vest, which most don't, but I've seen, then this will suck. And I would have wished I would have gone for the gold card. Had I gone for the gold card though, and he had a barrier, then this would have been the new strongest target, and it would never have hit Fiora.
Hesitation's a tell.
So now my opponent is considering, oh gosh, do I really want to use a barrier? Okay, he's got a sharp sight. Okay. Okay, so our opponent goes for a sharp sight.
I'm a people person.
Rivers shape the land and give it life.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we get a Passage Unearned. This is one of those matchups where Passage Unearned is not going to do very much. And we have surprisingly sparse card draw here. We're gonna play Pool Shark.
A game. Go on then.
Watch
We're not
the
going to
ball,
attack,
folks.
because that's just asking to run into a barrier, right?
We swim within the flows of magic.
We weren't expecting callers.
Unfortunately, we kind of have to just dump all our units on the board here,
Elise, where are you?
just to spend our mana efficiently. It's not ideal. He's only got 2 mana left, which is not enough for barriers, so we might actually attack with TF here. What could he have? He could have another Sharp Sight, right? Okay. So since this person clearly runs Sharp Sight, we're not going to attack. Even with the Curse Keeper, we're just going to call that a turn. All right, we see 2 go
Strike
hards.
quickly, strike deftly.
Now, if she challenges anything other than Twisted
Try
Fate,
me.
I'll glimpse beyond it. These are a big problem. Okay. Opponent is changing their mind. Go hard is really not what we wanted to see here. We wanted to see card draw. Well, then again, in this matchup, you really have to save your Glimpse Beyonds. Glimpse Beyond is a really good tool to stop Fiora from winning the game. So we're gonna go for a go hard on the bird. Ooh, this is our 3rd one. Oh, no wonder. That's really rough. That's really rough. But unless he has another Sharp Sight, we actually might be able to get something done here. Ah. Then again. Okay. This might seem weird, but I'm just going to... Everything's uncomfortable. Everything's uncomfortable.
Gotta
If we
trust your
Glimpse Beyond
instincts.
here, obviously we lose the Glimpse Beyond, but we draw 2 cards, and those cards might... They probably won't be able to save Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is probably not going to get leveled up. I think we just have to accept that. So we're just going to pass.
Let them eat swords.
You're in over
We'll
your
see how he
head.
does this. He challenges TF there. He challenges that there. We actually do block here because this draws a card whether it kills a unit or not. It just has to strike. So we're probably going to go hard one of these. We're going to Glimpse Beyond here. And unfortunately, Twisted Fate goes down, and we are super out of steam. We'll see if we can draw some more card draw. There we are.
I'm out.
What form will the waters take?
All right, so he's drawing some
A
spells.
gift from the river folk.
We're gonna go for a go hard here. Because now the plan is just to draw the 3rd go hard. So we're gonna play that there. Probably gonna Glimpse Beyond here. We're gonna stop that. We don't want him to draw any more spells. This happens either way, by the way.
Waters are still.
I see a lot of people like trying to stop Go Hard from happening. Like, this is an and effect. Drain 1 from unit and shuffle. So if you're going up against a Go Hard deck and they target your unit, it doesn't matter if you glimpse beyond your own unit or, you know, Mystic Shot your own unit. I've seen people literally Mystic Shot their own unit to stop Go Hard from happening. It doesn't work that way. It won't help. Don't do it. Don't do it is what I'm trying to say here. All right, we're gonna start with the Fortune Croaker.
For silver, I
We want
don't,
pack your
for
bags.
gold, I listen.
We're looking desperately for pack your bags.
What's that noise?
We don't find it, and that's fine. We don't attack because we don't have any way of stopping or of popping a barrier. We did lose our last Vile Feast last turn. Interesting. It's really interesting that he doesn't use Fiora to do that. We are absolutely going to glimpse that. Again, to stop a spell. So this is not like an all-in Fiora deck. This is just a strike deck. He's got lots of things that are synergizing with striking. There it is. There it is. We'll play Twisted Fate first. So he could have Sharp Sight in his hand, right? But he can't have a barrier. So what I'm gonna do here, I could go for the gold card onto the dragon, which would ensure that he dies, but I think that's a bit greedy. I think that's not greedy enough, actually. I'm out of
Never
steam.
lost a fair game.
I'm gonna go for more card
Or
drop.
played one.
And this is our turn to attack. So we're gonna get this card draw off. We're gonna play Pack Your Bags. We're gonna wipe his whole board, and then we're gonna hit him. Supposedly. Okay. All right. That's fine.
This will be quick.
Our opponent has 0 mana. So we're gonna wipe him out while he still has 0 mana.
My brother.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love watching that happen. Oops. There we go.
The quiet of the
Aw.
woods. There's nothing like
Aw, Genevieve. She couldn't buff anything. Pour one out. Pour one out for the sad Genevieve. We're just gonna play Pool Shark.
Game. Go on then.
it. Their pride will cost them.
Sad, lonely Genevieve. It's fine. We are pretty out of steam ourselves, and we've got a lot of low impact cards in our hand, namely Go Hards.
If I kill you, I don't fortune, stupid.
No, we find an Elise. That's not bad.
I've got your back.
Sure. Go for it.
These woods belong to us.
I wonder if this deck is running a Grizzled Ranger. If they are, Passage Unearned might actually get something done.
I'd follow you anywhere.
Of course you would.
All right, so now it's our attack token again, and we top deck a Salvage and a pick a card. Okay, we're gonna lead off with Salvage here because there's no reason not to. Pick a card is gonna send Passage back into our deck. We toss 2 units, and we draw some real low impact stuff. That's all right. We're gonna attack with everything.
You won't suffer.
Even Elise.
long.
Elise is gonna die here, but that's honestly fine.
I command you to halt. No closer.
That's honestly fine.
I
He gets
walk
a
the
Shen.
space between
Let's
worlds.
see if he can save his Genevieve here. A deny. Okay. Okay. Sure. Go ahead. We're gonna pick a card. We don't Glimpse Beyond right now. We'll save that for next turn. Maybe we'll get a Cursed Keeper or some sort of better target for it. I mean, spiders are not bad. There we are. There he is.
So I go.
So I go. Honestly, we probably just take this damage. We have regen cards in our hand. We have drain. So we're just gonna let that happen.
I see it.
We're gonna play... We'll start with Mystifying Magician here. We're gonna go to Twisted Fate next. Ta-da! 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 Ow. You got a 2/5, bud. It happens. We're gonna go for the red card.
I'm always up for a round or two.
And I imagine our opponent's just gonna concede in a minute. Oh, he has a deny. Sure. Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Go hard. And we'll also play Vile Feast. This is our first go hard. How many go hards do we have in our deck? We played Pack Your Bags once. Which means 5, which means I think there are currently 6 go hards in our deck. I think. 6 out of 19. Yeah, okay. Our opponent surrenders. Go hard.
It was in the cards.
Go hard value. See, people swim were saying when they first saw Go Hard into Pack Your Bags, they were saying that was really not a very good card. That was really a meme card. I don't think so. I don't think so even a little bit. I think Go Hard is probably the strongest. Well, not the strongest. The second strongest of the new cards that we've seen. The strongest being Feel the Rush. There's no denying that Feel the Rush is really, really strong. And probably the best of the new cards, but I think Go Hard is the second best, and the only other one that will actually show up in decent meta decks once all this craziness dies back down. Cause I've tried Go Get It. I tried so hard to make Go Get It work, and it's hard. It's really hard to make Go Get It work. Obviously, it works on Rekindler. It gets you tons of value if you play it on a Rekindler. And I mean, I think Go Get It is fine if you throw it if you throw it as a one-off in a deck with Rekindler. The problem is Ionia Shadow Isles just isn't that great of a deck. I think the ephemeral one is probably better than Spooky Karma right now. But neither of those are terribly good. Okay, so we see Targon Piltover with Vi and Aurelion Soul. I am not very familiar with this deck. We're gonna do a full mull. We're gonna look for Twisted Fate. We're gonna look for Elise. That's what we want. Slotbot is always good to see early. Cursed Keeper. Very good, very good. This is a much better opening hand than what we were looking at a minute ago. Even though it's all units. There we go, we get a Glimpse Beyond.
There's nothing to fear.
This might have been a mistake. He can, okay. I was gonna say this opens us up to a Thermal Beam,
Now.
but I guess he doesn't have it. Okay, Solari Priestess on turn 3.
Sunlight
I wonder if he's searching. I wonder if this is in his deck specifically to search for Written in Stars. Certainly might be. We're gonna drop Slotbot. We want Slotbot to start getting big. On 3 mana, there's nothing he could do to threaten Slotbot. This turn, anyway. Next turn might be a different story.
The treasure was in me the whole time.
We're gonna open attack.
Searching for suck winners.
I imagine he'll block Slotbot here. Or Mystic Shot it.
Believe or burn.
Mystic Shot. Which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We don't Glimpse Beyond there because we want to play Twisted Fate, and then play Glimpse Beyond while we have Twisted Fate on the board to level him up. So we're gonna call that Yeah, we're gonna call that the play for now. Let's see what our opponent does. Ooh. Oh baby, he's like it's asking me. He's like he's asking me to play red card. I don't want to play red card. I want to play blue card. 2 1-1s. That's hard to pass up. We do have a go hard in our hand. Let's go for the go hard. We target this one because on the off chance he wants to like guiding touch this or something. We hit the one that's not damaged. Into the messenger. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go for the blue card.
Deal me in.
Get our mana back, get another card in our hand.
Soak it in.
So this was created by Spacey Sketcher. He's got one more Celestial card in his hand that costs between 3 and 7. Costs from 4 to 6, right? This is interesting. We could level up Elise this turn. I think I kind of want to. These two regions, I played a lot of Heimerdinger Targon. I think it was like the list that Mogwai came up with, or one similar. I played a lot of that deck, and let me tell you, these two regions cannot deal
Smooth as
silk. Yes, you're very pretty, Elise. These two regions cannot deal with a board that's really spread out. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spread out. I am almost certain that this is gonna kill Twisted Fate in a hot second. We'll see. We'll see what he does. If he kills Twisted Fate, then we're gonna drop Marvolio. If he does anything else, I'd say we'd play pick a card. That's fine. We could even go for the Crawling Sensation here. Again. We don't need to. Maybe go for the Magician.
Another Marvolio miracle!
Another Marvolio miracle. Yeah, we don't need to go for the Crawling Sensation this turn. We're just gonna get one spider off of it. Not that helpful.
Banish the unworthy!
We drag the 1/1 here, even though this is fearsome, because we want to deal damage to our opponent. We do not have a way to deal with Aurelian Soul in this deck, so we really need to kill him before we get into that kind of scenario. I imagine he'll trade the 2/2s, which is fine. I could go for a Glimpse Beyond here, but I'd actually rather wear down his health.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Take from the rich, give to the rich.
Oh, fascinating. What is that doing here? We're gonna play Curse Keeper, I think. He goes for Guiding Touch. All right. This is what the Priestess made, by the way. So he has 0 Celestial cards in hand right now. That's good to keep in mind. We could go for the pick a card. I don't know if I like that. It's either the pick a card or the Pool Shark. I think I will, actually. We've got some extra mana, and we want to get some card draw in there. We won't also play the Pool Shark because we don't want that many fleeting cards all at once. Thermal Beam. I don't want to play the Glimpse Beyond here. I could glimpse that, but I'd rather save Glimpse Beyond for this. And again, I want to save this mana to cast all of our fleeting cards that we're going to get here in a second. Okay. Okay. Nothing we can do about that. Oh, and he is going to get one of our spells. Sure, man. You want to go hard? Wait a minute. If he gets one go hard, he could have many go hards. That's funny. That's a funny potential. I doubt it'll happen. Alright, so he gets a good trade there.
Yoink.
Yoink. Stinks. not much we can do about it. We're gonna start with the Fortune Croaker.
If I kill you,
I guess I could have started with the Glimpse Beyond, since it's fleeting. If we find a pick a card, which is nice, means we can send this Glimpse Beyond back to our hand, or I mean back to our deck. Did he daybreak that? He did. Ay vey. Okay. Our opponent's out of mana, which means we are free to do whatever the heck we want to do right now. I'm gonna play Go Hard. And since I've played 2 Go Hards, there should now be 5 Go Hards in my deck. We're gonna send this Glimpse Beyond back. We need to deal damage to our opponent, because next turn is Aurelian Soul's coming in. I don't think we can go for the Pool Shark though, because again, we're just gonna have too many fleeting cards all at once. Okay, we find a slot bot, which is cool. If we open attack right now, presumably we will get 3 damage in on our opponent. If we spread out, no, I think that's the best play. We need to take our 3 damage. He'll block here, I imagine. It's fine. And he'll play Aurelian Soul. Oh, or he won't. He's gonna wait. He knows we have fleeting cards in hand, and he's not gonna let us. He's gonna make us play it before he just commits to the Aurelian Soul, which is smart of him. Oh, maybe he didn't have it in hand then. He's playing that.
That egg.
We are gonna play both of our Pool Sharks now, I think.
A game. Go on then.
We'll keep saving Glimpse Beyond. We're gonna get Slot Bot nice and big. Nice big Slot Bot. Never mind. We will Glimpse now. That's fine. We get a Thermo Beam out of him. And again, we are buying ourselves time. The more time we can buy to draw things like Pack Your Bags, the better spot we'll be in. So we don't need to play the other Pool Shark now, I think. There's not as much incentive. We might actually play the Go Hard just to increase our chances of drawing Pack Your Bags. The problem is, I'm sure this deck runs things like... We're gonna drop the Curse Keeper. I think this deck runs things like Star Shaping. I would be surprised if it didn't. So while our opponent looks like he's at 5 health, he might end up healing a lot of that off. I was gonna say, that dies to a 2/2. Probably not what you want. Let's see what he does here. He might remove the Curse Keeper. He might play like a Mystic Shot or something. He doesn't. Passage unearned. Okay, we have it. We have the Pack Your Bags. We have it enabled. Ready to go. Which means that we are just waiting. Yeah, I was gonna say, we are just waiting for our opponent to drop really low. Once our opponent drops to low health, we are good to go. We play the Pool Shark here.
Where do you stand on cold shots?
We're threatening a lot of damage here. Obviously, next turn he's going to block the 4/3, but he still takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 damage next turn. I mean, yeah, we take that.
Watch this.
We open attack. Goes all the way down to 1 health, and oh, okay, so that's a cheap Aurelian Soul.
They think themselves cultured.
Again, he does have enough mana to go for a Star Shaping here, so he might not be dead. We'll see if he goes for anything else. We don't need passage unearned. He's not doing anything. No reason not to play salvage here. So we could play pack your bags, but again, he lives if he has a star shaping. I think we go for it anyway. Star shaping. Okay. Okay. So we deal 5. Our opponent is in a really precarious position here. We're gonna drop the pool shark and we're gonna call that a turn.
Son?
Oh, we draw a lot of cards. Okay. So we keep the pressure on with all the card draw, and eventually, here we'll give him a spider. There you go. Eventually we'll draw more. We'll draw the next go hard, right? We'll draw the next pack your bags. Right now, essentially what we're trying to do is just ensure that Aurelian Soul does not level up. Okay, is another star shaping. He goes down to 5 mana. We're gonna magician this.
I pulled them from my hat.
No, sir, I pulled them from my hat. We get a 5/5. He gets something. I wonder what he's discarding.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Discards a gotcha. That's fine. I'm gonna drop a Cursed Keeper, I think. Just because it's gonna go away. This is fleeting, so we may as well drop it.
I've given up chasing this one.
Gonna remove a blocker. And I believe that was go hard number 2. Oh god, how many go hards are in the deck? 7? 8? Something like that. We're even gonna drop a Fortune Croaker here.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
We're gonna lose the passage unearned, but again, this is not actually a helpful card in this matchup. Sad as it is to say, that card is not always helpful. It's only helpful in certain matchups.
Now they'll pay attention.
We are running out of card draw here, so we really need to go.
You must be very important.
Our opponent has a ton of cards in hand, but some of them are Celestials. A lot of them are Celestials, because he's played a few Star Shapings. That's Star Shaping number 3. And Aurelian Soul dies.
Our destiny.
We're looking strong. We're looking very strong.
You pay, I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
Alright, we find go hard number 3. And I mean, if we find one more, it's all over. I guess he could have Guiding Touch to keep alive. Our opponent is really... He's keeping himself in there, but he's working for it, you know? That will end around there. We'll keep the board space open. And we got the pack your bags. I think he's played 2 Guiding Touches and all 3 Star Shapings. We skip block. You can drop it now.
Elise, where are you? I make shepherding look
Ooh,
easy.
interesting. I think now we do play it. Pack your bags number 2, and that's a GG. We got him. So that's the idea. That's the idea of the deck is go hard, pack your bags is really, really strong if you can draw enough cards to overdraw past it and play all those cheap 1 mana spells that don't really do much. And then you get the pack your bags and you blow up his board. We did it twice that game. We played pack your bags twice and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't hack it. So I hope you guys enjoyed those games. If you're new here, leave a like, leave a subscribe. See you guys next time.